As I got another rhyme, another rhythm for y'all to listen. I'm never quitting on my mission, I'ma roll with what I'm giving. Got some ambition, this new edition, filling positions. Looking at the void in myself and feeling what's missing. Better watch the way you going, better go in the right direction. In the moment you stressing, but you gon' be counting blessings. And I know that for certain, keep on working, open curtains. Haters swerving, cause they ain't ready for your final version. Whoa. I'm never gonna give up, fall down, I just gotta get up, yeah. Cause this is my road.
You're listening to the Tom Ficklin Show on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
And good morning. Welcome to the Tom Ficklin Show on this brilliant fall morning here in New Haven. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Enola Aird, and I am filling in for Tom, who, as I understand it, is on his way to an urgent dental appointment. Tom, we wish you well. We hope you feel better soon. Several months ago, Tom asked me to pull together several of my colleagues for a conversation about Community Healing Network, an organization that was founded here 14 years ago this month at St. Luke's Episcopal Church on Whaley Avenue, an organization that started local but now has really and truly gone global. We have a global reach that extends as far away as the Caribbean, the United Kingdom, Ghana, South Africa, and we are growing. Yesterday, he emailed me and asked if I would be willing to pinch hit for him, given his dental challenges as host. So here we are, and here I am as your host for this video chat this morning. The subject is the global grassroots movement for the emotional emancipation of Black people. And I want to begin by introducing you to our guests. I'll call them by name and ask them to just tell us briefly who they are and how they're connected to CHN Community Healing Network. Chandra?
Good morning, family. My name is Chandra Roxanne, and I am the outreach consultant for Community Healing Network.
Reverend Bill Mathis. Thank you, Chandra. You're on mute. You're still on mute, brother.
I thought it was on. I am Bill Mathis. I am the executive director of WLM Ministries, which has a program called The Beloved Community. And The Beloved Community is in partnership with Community Healing Network in order to promote our project, Community Self-Healing Project.
Thank you very much. Kia.
Well, hello, everyone, and thank you, Sonola. My name is Kia, and I am a certified emotional emancipation facilitator, residing in Charlotte, North Carolina, with my husband, and also a speaker and a writer as well. So glad to be here with you all, with family.
Great to have you with us. Lester, formerly of New Haven, now of Minnesota, St. Paul, right?
That's correct. Good morning, community. I hope that you're doing well today. My name's Lester Bentley, and I am a certified emotional emancipation circle facilitator. I enjoy the work and I enjoy the connections from coast to coast, but really enjoy my roots there in New Haven, Connecticut. So thank you and welcome, everyone.
Thank you. And Janice Parker, lady, how are you this morning?
I'm amazing. My name is Janice Parker, and I am a health and wellness coach, and I am excited about being a part of the circle. My role in the circle is to go out and tell everybody about this amazing circle, to get them to come on in and join with us and have a great time. So I'm proud to be a part of this circle.
Thank you so much. Thank you each and every one for being with us this morning. And as I said before, my name is Enola Aird, and I'm founder and president of Community Healing Network. And I just want to start us off by giving a little bit of background about what CHN Community Healing Network is about. We are focused on addressing the reason why Black lives don't matter as much as white lives do. As much as we may want it to be true, as much as we may yell it in the streets, they don't matter to the world, to far too many people in this world, as much as white lives do. We're focused on the reason why Black people experience higher levels of chronic and toxic stress than white people do. We're focused on why doing anything while Black can be dangerous and even deadly. CHN is focused on the most powerful weapon ever formed against Black people. The idea, or what I prefer to call the lie, that Black people are inferior. That lie was told 600 years ago to justify the enslavement of African people and the economic exploitation of the African continent, the richest on the face of this earth. The lie created a ranking of humanity that says that whiteness and proximity to whiteness is the standard of everything good, and that Blackness and proximity to Blackness is the standard of everything bad. That lie was created 6 centuries ago, but it is still very much with us. No matter how many laws have been passed, it's still underneath the surface of every item, every data point, every bit of suffering that we have as Black people. It is reflected in the glaring disparities between Black and white people in health, education, income, wealth, police killings, incarceration, and nearly every other area of our life, not just in the United States, but around the world. And at CHN, we believe that in this quest for racial justice, healing from the trauma caused by the lie and finally extinguishing that lie are every bit as essential as protesting, as being in the streets, as litigating, as legislating. And we are organizing Black people to understand that lie, to share resources for healing, and to develop strategies to free ourselves, our children, and the world from this lie once and for all, so that we can really and truly flourish. Now, Chandra, I would love for you to give us some more details, break it down for us, the strategies that we've developed, the ways that we're going to go about and that we are going about building this movement.
Absolutely. One of the things that we at CHN really do stress is that our movement is an actual journey. It's a journey that we're all taking together because we feel as though emotional emancipation is something that we can only do together and not in isolation. And so the very first start of our journey is the pledge, the Defy the Lie, Embrace the Truth pledge, that you make this sort of commitment that you're going to start your healing journey, which is going to take some time, but it does start with that first pledge. And in the time of COVID, we've had to switch up our operations just very briefly or very simplistically. And so we call these a rapid response. We have these Ubuntu healing circles that we developed in collaboration with our primary ally, the Association of Black Psychologists. And so the Ubuntu healing circles are functioning as a healing circle where it's a safe space for Black bodies, Black minds, and Black spirits to be in communion with one another, but also to go through that healing journey, to celebrate, but to also help process some of the things that we are dealing with currently in our society. And alongside that, we have the formal emotional emancipation circles. At the moment, we are developing an online certification, but in its place, again, we're using Ubuntu healing circles as sort of the rapid response. In addition, we also have an annual celebration in October, which we call Community Healing Days. And it is a 3-day event where we encourage members of the Black African diaspora to engage in different types of community healing activities. It could be just coming together and having a drum circle. It could be sitting, calling with your family members. Your drum circle will have to be virtual. It could be having a Zoom chat. It could be having an Ubuntu healing circle. What's really special about the 2020 Community Healing Days is we have an actual program that we're launching. And so on Friday, we're going to have a conversation with Dr. Shale Grills and Dr. Dale Rowe. We're also going to have for Friday. On Saturday, we open it up for the community to have a variety of activities. And then on Sunday, we will have a Community Healer Awards and an Ubuntu Healing Circle. And we also have a new podcast called the Breathe Baby Breathe podcast, where we have conversations with cultural carriers to help us on our journey, to help us understand what African values are, to really understand them and help us to embrace them into our daily lives as a kind of antidote to the Western views that has perpetuated this lie of Black inferiority and white superiority. And that's really wonderful. We also have our Flourishing While Black newsletter that comes out.
We got so much.
We got so many, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, but I think you really, zeroed in on the key pieces of the initiatives that we've developed to really
Absolutely.
and truly build this movement. I want to ask you, Chandra, what difference has CHN meant to you? I mean, you obviously are a consultant for us, and we very much value the work that you do for us. Um, to what degree does CHN mean something to you personally?
Personally, so it actually is in the name. I mean, it's healing. I came in, I came or stumbled really upon CHN at a time where I myself was having a moment of crisis, and a crisis of identity of who I am, where am I supposed to be in the world, and what am I supposed to do? And so CHN to me has been a kind of re-education in who I am. Lauryn Hill has her famous album called "The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill," and I think the miseducation of Black people is just something that is universal. And so CHN is retooling my mind and helping me to heal from the decades long of the legacy of slavery that I knew and did not know, and bringing me into community with Black people, and thereby coming into my own humanity.
We're certainly grateful for you, Chandra. We really are. I want to zero in on our signature program, which is really gives it's sort of the philosophical underpinning of all of the work that we do, which is driven by African values, because we believe that it's strange. I used to think that we could do this work without reference to Africa. I used to think that we could do this work without. And then I realized that's so crazy. I mean, because if nothing good comes out of Africa, if we don't rediscover that, then we can never be good. And the beautiful part of the EEC process is that it's helping us to understand that. And it's reconnecting us with the values that really are the source of our healing. So I wanted to talk to you, Bill, Reverend Bill Mathis, about your encounters with Emotional Emancipation Circle and how it's led you to the journey that you're on, not only individually, but in terms of the way that the beloved community has developed.
Yeah, it's interesting as I heard my sister share about how the circle, emotional emancipation circle, really made an impact in her life and caused her to begin to think about the miseducation in her own personal life, but then how it has impacted us collectively. It's the same is true for my personal experience. There's TBC, the Beloved Community, started out as a collective of people here in New Haven who were frustrated by many of our engagements with social and other nonprofit governmental agencies who are doing work in our community. And we thought that they were doing it through a lens that was basically a lie, and just began thinking about how we were kind of participating in the perpetuation of that lie. And so as a part of the TBC's gathering, we began circles before we did anything, before we had any discussion, before we thought about ideas or crises or issues in our community and to lay plans. We began with the circle. And and what we all discovered is very similar, that in many ways, subconsciously, we contribute and add fuel to the fire of the lies that have been generated by us. And so as a result, we have been intentional about checking ourselves, if you will, doing a reality check about every step that we make, including this project that we are working with Community Healing Network now, the Community Self-Healing Project. Because if there's going to be true transformation in our community, we believe that it has to begin with us, and it has to begin with us freeing ourselves emotionally from racism, from the many ways in which slavery still exists of our minds and of our bodies. in order to build for something that appreciates and values who we are as a people authentically, as well as helps us to thrive in this particular environment. And so all of that to say is that I, along with many TBC members, have had emotional experiences and aha moments continuously as we began to kind of pull down the mask of the lies of Western and European civilization, our engagement in the public square, all of those things that in many ways are continuously to contribute to the decline of our community. And in this, what we may call and used to think of as something to brag about, the melting pot, which is here in America, which melts away the authentic us to give way to others, which are based on lies.
Oh, as you mentioned the word mask, is it Paul Laurence Dunbar? We wear the mask that grins and lies. I mean, yeah. And for us, it's freedom. These emotional emancipation circles are spaces where we don't have to wear a mask. We can just come in immediately and be ourselves, be our authentic, breathe, let our shoulders down selves. Arna Bontemps, another poet of the Renaissance, says, "Is there something we have forgotten wandering in these strange lands?" There is so much that we've forgotten. And the EEC, or we call it the Emotional Emancipation Circle, really is helping us to remember. It's helping us to remember what we've forgotten. And so, Bill, tell us a little bit about the Community Self-Healing Project, how it started, where it is right now, and then we'll get to Key and Lester, who are facilitators, two of the facilitators of that process.
Community Self-Healing Initiative is a result of some grants that we received, both from the Yale New Haven community as well as the Community Foundation here in New Haven, along with as supplemental monies TBC funds, the Beloved Community, because we decided on the outset that we also wanted to fund our own things and all that at least will be a base of support. But as a result of COVID-19 and some of the trauma experienced, these particular foundations, Community Foundation, as well as Yale New Haven Foundation, were making contributions to organizations who are doing work in our community. So it arose out of the Beloved Community's foundational called or destiny, that we would be empowered people, and empowered not from outside sources, but from within, so that we might drive the narratives in our communities, drive the narrative of how we respond to COVID-19 and what we do in response to it, and how we start thinking ahead, developing progressive agenda, so that even in post-COVID-19, we will be in a better stand, having our own table instead of always going to somebody else's table. So that was the impetus for this work in connecting with Community Healing Network to do this project. Our goals in the circle are at least to train 10 members we're presently operating in the Dixwell neighborhood, the Newhall neighborhood, and the Hill neighborhood. And so in each of those neighborhoods, leaders and members of that community and those who are working in those communities are coming together, working in a circle, dismantling the mask, or taking off the mask, and becoming and developing into their authentic selves. And it is our hope that we will be able to identify at least 10 members to train to be facilitators for circles. So not only will the work continue in those communities, but we might also be able to start circles in other communities within New Haven, all of them working within their communities, driving their narrative, but collectively coming together as a mighty power and people and flood of life for our entire community in New Haven. Hopefully this will become a model that we'll be able to put in a tube and take it to Milford, and take it to Hartford, and take it to Albany, Georgia, and to Atlanta, Georgia, those kinds of things. So that is the essence of us building a thriving community that supports and promotes our people, our authentic selves, and gives us space to be our true self. As a preacher, I can't help but to reference scripture. It says, "Out of Egypt, which is in Africa, shall I call a child."
Bill, thank you so much. It really is exciting to think about this. Something we can take in a tube. I mean, we've been doing so many ways and means of trying to figure out how to build this movement. But as you described it, I could see that we're already planting seeds for a local movement in and around the New Haven area that will spread out. That is our goal, that is our intention, and that is what we will do. When we started doing this work, I was thinking last night that it was kind of like, okay, who do we have? Who are our resources? Who can we bring together? And I felt like, the movie and the television series, Mission Impossible, right? Where you go get your file and you say, who we got? Who can we send, right? And we went through our thing, our list of people, and we're like, okay, Lester. Now, he used to be here. He was trained as an EEC facilitator back in what year, Lester?
It was
2014? 2014?
2014, 2015, yes.
Right. And then there's Lester, and he's in New Haven. But then I reached out to Lester, and Lester said, well, I'm in New Haven right now, but I'm on my way to St. Paul, Minnesota. Got there, a day or two after our brother was killed?
2 days after the George Floyd murder here in St. Paul.
Yeah.
So you can see that the issues run throughout the country, not only in New Haven, Chicago, Detroit, New York, Charlotte, Miami, Oakland, San Francisco. You can just go on, but it's the same narrative.
And all that pain needs to be healed.
Yes.
We can't move. When we think we're stuck, big part of the reason is we're stuck because as human beings that we are, which has been denied to us, we need to heal. And then Kia, we're looking through our book and we say, well, Kia, where is she? She could be a facilitator to make this community self-healing project for emotional emancipation work. She's in North Carolina, and she's been very active with our Ubuntu community of EE Circle facilitators. So Kia, we reach out to you. And
I got the call and I said, well, all right now, okay. So
bring some Southern charm to this place, this cold place up here.
By way of the Midwest, right? But nevertheless, just as Brother Lester, stated, it was 2017 when I received the information from Now. I didn't know the young lady, but we're sisters now, and she's a psychiatrist here in Charlotte, and we were doing some community work. We had just moved here. We were probably about our third year in Charlotte by way of Indianapolis, and we heard about Community Healing Network. And when I heard just the name, just as Chandra had shared, it really resonated with me. Just the words community, healing, and network, and all three of those words together. In light of some of the things that were going on in our new community, but also back home in Indianapolis, Indiana, and like Brother Lester said, just across the country. So I thought about, I kind of had an opportunity to digest the information. She said there's a training coming up where you get certified, and just share some information. And when I looked over it, I believe in divine alignment. And so I knew that was something that I had to be a part of. When I looked at just my life and my family, community, and our community at large, I've always been attracted to, I didn't really put healing with it, but when I look back and look at the sister circles that I was a part of, and sisterly organizations within college, and some of the even formalized organizations back home and here, I was always drawn to us because I love us. I love my people. And then, of course, service work within the community and the church. But one of the things that I found is that in all of those groups and entity, it was some of the same challenges. some of the same challenges with regards to how we relate to one another, how we see ourselves in one another, some of the conversations that needed to take place but just weren't taking place, that kept us stuck or in a place of conflict or tension. And I knew that we had to go deeper. And so, and going back to the healing that's needed and the identity crisis. I'll just say that the identity crisis, unfortunately, that we are in as a people because of some of the gruesome acts within our history, and that affects us. It affects us today. So being a speaker, being a person that's already in that space for me, it was divine alignment. And then where I was and where I even am as far as my own continued healing and self-discovery. As I continue to grow and just learn more and more about my family, just some of the situations that took place and some of those truths. And I see that we need each other more than we think that we do.
Mm.
And this type of work, some people will say like communications and conflict management, that's the soft skills, but those are the essential skills and where the work is needed. So when you say emotional emancipation and liberation, in order for us to move forward, as we all know here, we have to get a little uncomfortable. We have to go back home, even if we can't go there physically, home being Africa. And raise up and learn and hold up our value system that we have had. That's not new.
Especially now.
Especially now. So I'm going to stop. So I'm getting excited.
No, but I think you're hitting on a very, really important point that we are in this narrative that is, and we talk about it as the I am. I think, it's the I narrative. It's all about me.
Mm-hmm.
It's about individualism. It's about materialism. It's about total lack of stewardship. And we see that system is necessarily dying.
It's harmful.
Right before our eyes. And what we're seeing is that the we value system, which is quintessentially African, remember, it's the original value system because Africa is the original place and we are the original people. That system is the only one that can save us. The only one that can save us. And so for us, this work of emotional emancipation is so critical. Janice, my dear, I want to bring you back in here to make sure that you share with us your role as a community builder in this community self-healing project.
Well, I was excited when I read the literature myself, when I was invited to the circle. And I was extra excited when I looked at the role that I was going to play. I am a community person. I work in a city. I know a lot of people. I've been in the city all my life. I went to school here. I haven't moved away like Lester. I'm still here. And I had the honor and pleasure of working, side by side, of course, with my pastor who's on, and my church is right down the street. So in the community, I do a lot in the community. So I was really, really, really excited about working with people in the community and talking with them. Although, sometimes it's a little bit of a challenge, but we're getting over that part. And just letting them know it's a comfortable circle. A lot of people don't want to let go because they're afraid of the backlash. And I'm saying, this is a safe circle. This is where we want to be. This is where you can be yourself. You can let go. And as we say, let God, handle everything else. Also, it's a great time in our community to be Black. We are powerful. We are great people. We are moving forward in our lives in spite of the information, the lies. If we look back, we're not holding. We may be looking back to correct the backness, but we're moving forward to a new day. Every day we get up, we're proud. We're still proud to be African Americans. We have come a long way in spite of our experiences. And as I talk to them about situations like that in the community. Like we're owning banks now, we're moving ahead, we're still going to college, we're educating ourselves, we're redeeming ourselves, and all that is lost we can't gain back, but we can move forward in gaining what is ours forward, moving forward. So when they hear this talk and they hear it from a person like me getting excited and saying, hey, it's a great time, join the circle, be yourself, let go, encourage yourself, your children, bring them along. It's not just for adults, okay? It's for everybody that can sit side by side and listen in on the circle and get that education that we need. Because in the school system, a lot of people say, hey, I wish this was taught in our school system as a class. And unfortunately, we get a little bit of history. We get that February month, and then bam, it's over.
But it's our job. It's really our job, right? We don't need to depend on them to give us our history, because I certainly believe that when we depend on them, we're going to get something that's not really for us. It's not really going to lift us up. We'll get something adulterated, and that's not really meaningful. So we have to do our own education. And I think that's the key for the circles. It's a self-help support group process, but that requires us to really reacquaint ourselves with our history, understanding that the history that we've been taught, our understanding of history, is all a lie. And I think we shared something in the circle a couple of weeks ago about saying that, the real challenge of this next part of the century is curing and undoing ourselves of the lies that we have been taught. That's, Dr. Angelo said, take a day to heal from the lies you've been told and the ones you've told yourself. In 2 weeks, we're going to be celebrating Community Healing Days. This will be our 12th anniversary. And the key is we have to deal with those lies. We have to acknowledge their existence. And I see, Kia, you've got your sky blue on. I've got mine. Sky blue is our color, is Healing Network's color. We wear sky blue as often as we can, most particularly around Community Healing Days. This year it's October. Chandra, what is it?
16th, 17th, and 18th.
17th and 18th, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for body, mind, and spirit, healing of each. And we're sky blue because we are calling our community to move beyond the pain of the blues to the sky blue of unlimited possibilities. That's why everything CHN is sky blue, because that's the purpose, that healing color of sky blue, that healing color that says what Marcus Garvey said, let the sky and God be our limit. There's no limit beyond that. So let's think about where we are as a people right now, given everything that's happening to us, and kind of reflect on what it is that this healing can really bring to us, and the doors it can open to us as a community.
I believe that the time is now. When we look and see, this is month 7, we're in multiple pandemics, and the pain that I say the country, across the country and really world, is experiencing at the hands of the pandemic, the medical pandemic, the racial pandemic, the spiritual pandemic. We are officially in a crisis. We've been, but it has been made official. And so when you take that in, when we look at, I was just talking to my cousin last night about just feelings of anxiousness. And I've talked to a few people, and it seems consistent across age, gender, wherever, geographic location. What we're hearing, we log onto the computers and we see all these headlines. You turn the TV on for a few minutes, it's everywhere. And so we're being bogged down with so much negativity, so much pain, on top of the lie of who we are. We are in a crisis. But at the same time, look at us here on this show from in Minnesota. It's forcing us to do things differently and to have a further reach as well. So there is a silver lining in that. But where we are now, I feel as though there is a great reckoning going on. And we have to decide which side we're going to be in. There's a heart examination, if we're willing to do that. And then as a people, we have to be truthful about our pain. And that's individual within our families, our communities, in order to move forward. Because I believe that our ancestors are standing with us, even at this very moment, saying, come.
We were on a call, we were on a Zoom thing, and somebody said, simple prayer, ancestors, please. Ancestors, please.
Yes. Yes.
And they are here. They're coming. They're here. This is the moment. It really is and truly the moment. This sojourn has not been for naught. And really preparing ourselves is so essential. One of the things I wanted to share just very briefly is that in our EE circles, we don't just talk. We don't just teach verbally things, but we also share skills. And Janice said last week, would you share, Janice, the week before, I guess, or this last week, I don't remember, about the elder woman who, when you talk to her, she always has a message to share with you. And I just wanted to share it with the group, our listening, watching audience before we leave. But what did that woman say to you?
She let me see, I gotta think back. I've been on so much stuff.
Whenever you talk to her on the phone, she says, don't forget to
hug.
Give yourself a big hug. Give yourself a big hug. And yes. We have a number, thank you, Janice. We have a number of keys that we work through in the circle, and each key has a resilience, emotional wellness tool attached to it. And this one, the butterfly hug, which is this, where you just, bring your hands together like this, clap your thumbs together, and put your fingers underneath your collarbone and just tap, 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 tap. And it gives your son such a feeling of comfort. I had not seen my grandbaby in months. And when I do this, I remember him and it feels like I'm with him. This strategy, this tool is a way for us in moments of stress, in moments of anxiety, to remind ourselves not only that we are here, but that we are surrounded by our ancestors. I think, Kia, and you said in our last meeting that when we stand not alone, but with thousands of ancestors with us. We went through a process called ancestral mathematics, where we figured out that in order for us to be born, there were so many people who had to come together to make it possible for us as one person to be. And so we do these kinds of things, and we do these kinds of exercises and tools that we can share widely in our community, that we can have at our disposal in our toolkit as microaggressions come, as attacks come, for us to remember who and whose we are.
That's right.
So that we can stand.
That's right. And when you said, as far as the EECs, one of the things that I appreciate is because it's multifaceted, Sister Nola, so we do have an opportunity to connect and talk. And even as we are coming into the circle, how we share, sometimes it is one word and how you're feeling. And even when we say, okay, where are you stress-wise? What on a scale of 0 to 10? So in addition to sharing we're checking in with one another, which we really need to do on a regular basis, even outside the EECs, is to do a check-in.
And all of these things are meant to be tools that you carry out in the world. So we should be checking in with ourselves and giving ourselves a big fat butterfly hug when we need it.
That's right.
In our daily lives.
That's right. And the curriculum, though. So in addition to the tools, in addition to the resilience work that we do and we share, I just want to make sure that people understand that this curriculum was well thought out between Community Healing Network and the Association of Black Psychologists, to where with the research and the model that has been put in place, so there, you don't have to be a speaker or a psychiatrist or what have you. Really, your heart just has to be in the right place, and that's really having a heart for us as a people in our community and healing. So, and I just wanted to say that the curriculum is robust, again, based on African concepts and principles, and it's just good. And Janice said we have a good time. We do have a good time. But then that teaching that's there, and again, lastly, it's a place where you don't even have to come with a mask, and that's important to me because I don't do masks well. You know, you can come in. You feel the sanctity of that space, and people are able to say, you know what, this is the first time I even heard that, and not feel bad about it. Oh my goodness, I realize that I've been, you know, how the lie has affected me. This is what has been created. This is the table that has been set for us as we go forward in our emancipation. And in our liberation, and it's for us by us. Is that what it FUBU used to be, for us by us?
and Reverend Bill, you've got another version of for us by us. What is it? You're on mute.
The version that I'm not sure if you're talking about Bobo, Black owned and Black operated. That is a thing that you know, when I used to live in Baltimore, it was something that an organization that actually dealt with the emotional state of Black people as a result of racism, developed as a way to promote ourselves and to develop and nurture our own self-esteem. And so in the Bluff community, we have done a number of different projects around economic empowerment for Black people. And so we did a Black History Month event in which we asked everybody everywhere to spend money with Black businesses and et cetera. And so as a result, we kept kind of like a record as much as we could from those and continue to try to promote those businesses. So yeah, I even got a t-shirt, Bobo, Black owned and Black operated. And so it is more than economic. It is also owning our own mind, our own thinking, who we are, what is important to us, our narrative, et cetera.
Yeah. You know, Toni Morrison says being free is one thing, but claiming ownership of that freedom is quite another. And we're in this is the struggle, right? Because the society has us so you know, diverted in so many different ways, that the notion of recovering identity is, you know, that's something that we have to be intentional about. But it is so crucial to our ability to move forward, and then to our ability to be able to work together. Ever wonder why we have difficulties and challenges working together to solve the problems that we need to solve together? But for working together, we can't solve these problems. And but for getting rid of the narrative that says Black people can't work together, it's hard. It ain't easy. But the commitment to say we're coming into that circle, and it's a figurative circle. It's not just, you know, when you're in the circle, it's when you're out of the circle, we're still in the circle. That's right. When we come out of this box, we're still a circle. And if there's a conflict that needs to be resolved, that conflict will be resolved one way or another. because we have to stay in this circle.
I do think that this work, the Community Self Healing Project Initiative, TBC, and Community Healing Network itself, make a concerted effort to engineer spaces in which we can be our authentic selves, because it is out of that, as a Bible, again, a reference to the Bible says that out of our belly shall flow rivers of water, rivers of life. And so it becomes critically and important. It's part of something that I am personally going want to look into is how do we engineer that space? They for a long time had prohibited and forbidden us from gathering together, and actually created laws, even the laundering laws, even today, around those same things, that we don't gather with one another because of the wonderful gifts and talents and richness of being and humanity that we have within us. Once we come together, we can achieve anything and do anything. We civilize the world.
That is the amazing point, right? So if we think, this has been challenging, it really has. It's been extraordinarily challenging. But just think for one moment that every person of African ancestry, Black African ancestry, born over the last 6 centuries, 600 years, has been born into a world that devalues us. And yet, what we have accomplished, what we have done, what we have contributed, think then how much more we will be able to contribute, how much more our children will be able to do when we take the time to heal. As Dr. Angelo said, when we take the time to free ourselves of this burden and free the world of it. Because I remember when we started this work, people would say, well, gee, the most we can do is like free our own minds. We can't change the world. And I'm like, really? Why not? It's only been 600 years, because remember, before the colonization of our minds, before the colonization of Africa to enrich Europe, Africa was the richest, most powerful continent, on a par with the Greeks and the Romans and all that good stuff. How we got to this place, a big part of it is the lie. Right. A big part of it is the lie, the use of that lie as a weapon against us. And so,
Sister Nola, I was going to say that the work that the Emotional Emancipation Circles does falls hand in hand with the work of emotional liberators, psychological liberators, and actual physical space liberators. Because though the 600 years have existed, we have had resistance to the lie. However, it's a constant struggle. So Frederick Douglass, Dr. Naim Akbar, breaking the psychological chains of slavery, Franz Fanon, Black Skin, White Mask. So there is work that continues to go on. And what the circles remind us is you have to be engaged in the work for your own liberation. It's not something that's given to you. It's an active process.
That's right.
And it's not a passive process. And as Sister Kia talked about, the way the curriculum is designed, it's to psychologically support you. It's emotionally support you. And as you were saying, Sister Nola, once you eliminate the lie, then everything opens up as the possibility of working with a strong community, like Janice, the work that she's doing, how Chandra is being able to work within this programming to come up with additional programming to benefit our identification of who we are, and the pride that comes with being able to walk with your shoulders back and your eyesight clear, and no longer looking through the lens that devalues you, and using your own lens. Because if I use my own lens, I will value myself. If I give myself permission to look through my own lens, I will value myself and I will feel limitless. And the work of the EECs is to help people drop the baggage of the oppressor and pick up the baggage of liberation,
Mm.
which is about enlightenment and unlimited potential. And as a people, that's our wellspring, that unlimited potential. Just
And to
wanted
be
to add
able
that
to
in.
see and to be able to see each other that way. I
Yes.
don't just see myself as walking in my own power, but I'm seeing you, Kia, I'm seeing you, Chandra, I'm seeing you, Janice, I'm seeing you, Bill, I'm seeing you, Lester. We're all walking in our own power. We're all happy for each other.
Yes, that Ubuntu, right?
Mhm.
That's
I am because we are.
That's right. That's the spirit, and it's not something within our community, within our families, and that can happen overnight. But the more as we awaken, we are able to model that, to model what that actually looks like.
Good.
And then those who are able to digest that can go out, and so it grows bigger and bigger, because as we said, these aren't new concepts. For some they are new concepts, but it's really getting back to our basics, getting back to who we are.
Right. And all we've done at CHN is to create an infrastructure
Yes.
to do what Marcus Garvey said we needed to do: emancipate yourself from mental slavery. What Carter G. Woodson said, correct your miseducation. What Biko said, take
Brought it all together.
your mind out of the hands of the oppressor.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. It's just a way of building a global movement and saying, everywhere we are, let's get free together. Let's just do that. I'm told we only have a few more minutes. Chandra, you want to tell us what we've got coming up and how people can get in touch, get involved, join this movement for emotional emancipation?
Absolutely. So we have the Community Healing Days that is coming up Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is October 16th, 17th, and 18th. We are also I think I have permission to say this, but we are building an online community. So we have a space, an actual online virtual space where we will be together and continue our conversations. And then, of course, every month we are having a new conversation with a new cultural carrier about African values. So please check us out or listen to us on Spotify, on iHeartRadio. It's called the Breathe, Baby Breathe podcast. Breathe in the fresh air of African values.
Thank you. And Lester, you said something about the struggle. It's been a constant struggle. We are in the business of ending the struggle. We're tired of struggling. The revolutionaries of the 60s and 70s were all, la luta continua. No. I'm a Black mother. I'm a Black grandmother. I want this over with. It's got to be over, because we deserve to not have to struggle, not have to fight. We deserve to flourish. And so we are working to make 2020 to 2030 the decade to defy the lie of white superiority and Black inferiority and embrace the truth of Black humanity, because ultimately this is about our humanity. It's not so much a racial struggle as a coming back into the circle of humanity from which we were thrown out by the lie. And so we're coming back, whether people want it or not. We're coming back because we're reclaiming our dignity and our humanity as people of African ancestry. That is fundamentally what this movement is about. I think we are tuning out. Harry, is our time up? I hear the music. That means that it is. Thank you so very, very much for each and every one of you, Kia, Lester, Bill, Chandra, and Janice. Very grateful for you. And remember, everybody, as Marcus Garvey said, we Black people have a beautiful history, and we shall create another in the future that will astonish the world.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Tom Ficklin Show on WNHH LP 103.5 FM. Community Radio.
This is my road. Let's camera action. I'm ready to go. I'm never gonna give up, fall down. I just gotta get up, hey. Yeah, this is my road. Let's camera action.